Okay, it is 3:05, and out of respect and interest for all your time this afternoon, we're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Janae Smith. I am with eHoldings. I have the pleasure of opening the meeting today, doing a little bit of housekeeping for you. But thank you for joining the meeting hosted by PJ Dick, Macero Mascaro to discuss the FNB Financial Tower. This is the first of several bidder sessions. We hope that you will gain a lot of information from this session, and we look forward to engaging you in discussion. And so as I say that, I'd like to go over a few housekeeping tips with you. Understanding that there are roughly 150 people in this meeting, and we want to give folks the opportunity to speak as well as respect folks' time. Just so you know, the session is being recorded. You don't have to take copious notes necessarily. We are going to post not only the recording, but a PDF of the presentation. And so if there's information herein that you want to refer back to later, you'll be able to do so. That information will be posted on the project website, which you'll notice is at the bottom of each and every slide. It's www.lowerhillredevelopment.com/construction bidding. You can find all the information that you need, and we'll talk a little bit about that website and what it includes shortly. The registration list will be published, so for those of you who registered either in advance or just today before joining, a snippet of your information will be provided and posted as well to allow for collaboration and teaming opportunities. During the presentation, we are going to ask that everyone mute themselves, and we will go through and proactively mute you as well. But if you have questions, and you don't want to lose that train of thought, but we are still kind of presenting the information, please use the chat feature to provide us with your questions and your comments. And when we have our dedicated Q&A segment at the conclusion of the presentation, we're going to start by taking a few questions from the chat. We'll probably jump over to some live questions and kind of toggle back and forth to make sure that we can answer as many questions as we can in the 45 minutes that we have allotted to do so. If you have technical difficulties throughout this meeting, you can also use the chat feature. You're going to look for the name of Chad Williams. He will try to the best of his ability to help you with any challenges that you are having. And last but not least, if we have the pleasure of speaking with you today via telephone, in order to unmute yourself, you would choose *6. That will allow you to mute and unmute yourself. And if you would like to raise your hand, which would be really important during the Q&A segment, you use this function of *9. So with those housekeeping rules being covered, I'd like to turn the meeting over to Bomani Howes with BPG. Bomani? Oh, Bomani, we love what you're saying, but we can't hear you. Please remember to unmute yourself.
Thank you so much, Janae, for that introduction. I want to welcome everybody to PJ Dick's bidder information session. My name is Bomani Howes, Vice President of Buccini Polling Group. I want to get started by just saying that none of this could be done without the tremendous team effort of Buccini Polling Group and PJ Dick, held together and led by the dynamic duo team of eHoldings, Janae Smith and Irv Williams. So thank you so much for all the work you've been doing up to this point. We have also in partnership with regard to construction manager Mascaro and Macero. Just want to give you a brief project overview. We've been working very hard to make sure that we're pushing through for all of our approvals necessary. This is a fully financed project, and we intend to deliver real economic impact, real community revitalization, one that restores the dignity of work, the dignity of small business growth and development, and community revitalization. And so very quickly, I just want to also let you know that in the building of this 26-story tower for First National Bank headquarters, the site is going to be one that is going to reverse a lot of the ills of our past, where we were not able to get the projected MBE goals that we are shooting for. We have at the center of this project the Community Collaborative and Implementation Plan, which exceeds the city's goals for 18 and 7%. Next week, I'd like to have you all also join us for our Lower Hill Economic Impact Roundtable, which will be March 31st at 6 p.m. also on Zoom. So with that, I will turn it back over to Janae. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Hey, Bomani. On the following slide is information about the session that Bomani referenced. I will be turning it actually over to Justin Huff with PJ Dick. Thanks, Justin.
Yeah, one more slide, please. All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Justin Huff. My role for this project is as the project executive in charge of the construction team. Our team has been working on this project for about 2 years now to get to this point. So I'm extremely excited to get things kicked off here today. I'm going to give you a high-level overview of the project that's in focus today, which is the FNB Financial Center. Although PJ Dick is the prime contract holder, we are working in association with our partners at Mascaro and Macero Construction. So if you end up talking to one of us, you're talking to all of us. The project itself is comprised of 2 primary components, as you can see in these pictures. Parcel G1 of the former arena site is the location of the office tower, traditional high-rise, and then parcel G, which is an outdoor community space right next to it. The bidding will be phased over the coming months, and once construction begins in late summer, fall of this year, the project will take 27 months to complete the core and shell work. That does not include potential future fit-out opportunities. The reason why you're all here today is really to begin to identify how your firms can compete and give you time to develop a strategy to respond to the bidding opportunities when they're presented shortly. 2 primary high-level components to cover before we move forward. The first is this is a commercial project, so the budget and the bids need to be competitive. That's one component. And then just as important is this is also a public project, so the bids and the teams need to be diverse. So that's really the gist of what I want everybody to take away from this. I hope all of your firms decide to participate in the bid process. If you do, I encourage you to make a plan now to address these 2 components. This is somewhat different than the traditional path of creating diversity and inclusion. So your firm might need to think outside of the box. So if you're planning to provide a bid, please, please begin to think about that. Increase your supply chain diversity plan now. Think about partnerships like joint ventures, mentor-protege arrangements, or quite frankly, you are all smarter about how you do business than we are. Go use your knowledge now. So use your expertise to create and deliver a commercially competitive and diverse response to us in the timeline allotted. For more on diversity component, I'm going to turn it over to Teresa Giacomino. Teresa?
Thank you, Justin. I'm Teresa Giacomino. I'm with PJ Dick, and I'm considered the CSIP manager, which is a plan that has been put in place to give us high goals, which are above and beyond any typical inclusion the city of Pittsburgh's projects typically have. Our goals are 30% minority and 15% women business participation. As part of that, there's a requirement to have job creations and workforce development goals, of which 20% goal is to be minority labor force. That labor workforce can come from the local residents of the Greater Hill District community and new hires. Page, the next slide. Some of the workforce opportunities offer pre-apprenticeship programs through Partners for Work and the Builders Guild. The bidding requirements, as we will go out to bid, will actually have these included with all the information that you need to participate. Training opportunities are out there as well for everybody. with Riverside Center for Innovation resource. They will have small business training and workforce development training. Each of this is further covered later in the presentation, and more information can be found going to the link found at the bottom of the slides. Thank you.
Hello, folks. My name is Bill Hartle. I will be leading the construction activities on site. What I want to do is give an overview on the project schedule, projected schedule at this point, some timing on packages, and the way things are coming together as we see it now. So in the beginning here, we're hoping to improve upon this mobilization date, but right now we're showing it's the end of summer, early fall, October-ish type of timeline. We're going to jump into the site prep excavation in November, foundations immediately thereafter, with a concrete structure which is up through the first 5 floors of this building. Structural steel will then commence in June of next year, with the curtain wall to follow shortly thereafter. We're projecting a structure complete date by April of 2023, and the core and shell work to be complete in February of 2024. So that's the projected schedule milestones right now. We've been looking through some of the workforce projections on this project. So this looks like a fairly complicated slide here, but to give you the highlights, in the beginning, you can see that the workforce will be somewhat limited, 30 folks or so, but then ramping up as we get into the interiors and the structure being completed, and tailing back off toward the end of the project, as you would imagine. Now this is, as Justin stated, this is core and shell only. That's what these projections are. If there are other opportunities that pop up with some fit out, obviously that manpower would trend upward. The next slide is really just another form of the previous slide that provides the projected hours in a more trade by trade basis, so that you can have a view of what we foresee as the overall hours per trade. So the next slide, we get into the bid packages themselves and how we see this project being bought out. The first package is a large and complex curtain wall package, as you would imagine. And what we want to do here is let folks know that this is the first package. We plan on issuing it the middle of April, 3 weeks or so from now. So folks that are interested in participating, if you've already contacted eHoldings, great, you're on the list. If you haven't, please contact them, and the website is shown here. So please start that. We want to make sure that everybody that wants to be involved in the curtain wall package is on the list, and we need to get that going here shortly. So we'll issue the documents mid-April, bids due mid-May, anticipated award early June on this curtain wall package. The next slide, we're going to get into, we're looking at 2 major releases on bid packages for this project. There'll be a June and a July, where there will be a lot of different packages. So the first real multi-package release will be in June. It will consist of the trailers, the equipment, cleaning, fencing, dumpsters, temp toilets, surveying, barricades, tower crane, the hoist, general construction, cleaning, and snow removal. We project these bid packages going out on the street in early June. The next slide shows some additional packages in June: site electrical, site plumbing, site demo, earthwork, and temporary retention. Another slide for June. So we're going to have a busy June. Concrete bid packages, caissons, concrete structure package 1, concrete structure package 2, which would be the slab on decks. And then I believe we have one last package here in June, which would consist of the waterproofing, structural steel, and elevator. So a lot of things would be released out on the street in June. A lot of things going on, but we won't be able to take much of a breath, because then we're going to get into July, where we have a lot of other bid packages coming up. Fire protection, plumbing, mechanical, electrical, roofing. and followed on by some of the interior finish packages, the drywall, the millwork, doors and frames, garage doors, garage traffic coatings, flooring, painting, tile, specialties, interior signage, equipment. Next slide shows even more. This gets into the exterior site landscaping, site amenities, site concrete, asphalt paving, site hardscapes. And then finally, I think we have one additional slide, which would be the final cleaning package. So in wrapping things up, initial package next month, 3 weeks or so from now is curtain wall. A lot of things being available in June, followed up by a lot of additional packages in July. So I think that wraps up my side. I think I turn it back over to Teresa, please.
Thank you, Bill. So this is the first session for information, and future sessions will be advertised and held with each of the bid package issuances. So you might all be wondering, what are our next steps? Kind of what do we do? So steps to get to bidding. Visit the Lower Hill Redevelopment site posted there on the web page. Complete the form. A little snapshot of what it looks like is on the right-hand side, and hit submit. That information comes directly to PJ Dick for inclusion in our interested bidders list. Bidding documents will be issued via an email from SmartBid to those bidders, as well as others that we're working through that Janae will talk about.
Hello. So for those of you who represent diverse businesses, so MBE, WBE, DBE businesses, if we haven't contacted you already, then there is an email address on the slide where you can email us your just basic information. We're just looking for your name, your email address, and your phone number. The next step would be answer our call. So we are going to reach out to you as part of a follow-up initiative to just get a little bit more information about your specific firm, qualifications, and your interest in the upcoming bid packages. If you've already had this call with us, then your information has already been reviewed and will be provided to PJ Dick as part of this kind of process to make sure that there is inclusion and opportunities. Please allow us to share your information. And so for those of you who've provided your information, we'd love to be able to share that, share your interest with prime contractors if you yourself are not interested in pursuing this as a prime contractor. As Justin mentioned in his introduction, now is the time to talk partnerships and collaborations. And so a way that we can be a vehicle to help with those activities is to provide your information so that there is an opportunity to do so. In the next coming months, we are going to have some workshops that are dedicated specifically to MWBE firms to talk about these opportunities with PJ Dick and get an understanding of their requirements and the opportunities for partnership. And last but certainly not least, when we've called you, we've asked you by any chance if training would be something that you'd be interested in for your business, whether it be bonding, insurance, or other things. If you've told us yes, we are providing your information to Juan at Riverside Innovation Center. They have a series of training programs that run the gamut to help those who are interested in grow and learn more for their business. We will make that connection for you, but just know that when we call you, if you do have an interest in training, please let us know that at that time, and we will make sure that those connections are made. So again, if you haven't heard from us, please be sure to send us an email to diversity@eholdings.com or give us a phone call and leave a voicemail. If you have heard from us, just know that we've passed your information on and you will hear from someone shortly. And then please allow us to share your information. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it back to Teresa, and she's going to talk a little bit more holistically about the process.
Thank you, Janae. So after all these wonderful steps, you're able to click and submit a form, identify if you're a minority or woman-owned company, eHoldings reaching out to you. Basically, this is all feeding information for every potential opportunity out there for you. So PJ Dick will be collecting all this bidder information. We're going to organize each of these companies into the various bid packages and group them accordingly based upon abilities and their interests. Now, when the bid package issuances are put out, we're doing this by organizing, inviting, and facilitating specific bid package meetings, information sessions. We're going to do some networking sessions as well for each specific point of work. PJ Dick will also have conversations with the M&W companies to aid in finding ways to work on the projects in the scope of work that aligns with your capabilities. So again, everything right now is encouraging you to step up, put your information out there. Let's get discussions rolling. We have lofty goals here and we want to meet them for Pittsburgh and everywhere else around. Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa. So we are now at the point in the presentation we were going to entertain questions. So I see that we haven't received any questions via chat just quite yet. So if you do have questions, I'm first going to open it up to the folks that are joining us via phone because they don't have the opportunity to provide a question via the chat. And so if you are on the phone, please use *6 to unmute yourself and we will start to entertain questions at this time. Okay, understanding that no one on the phone has unmuted themselves or they're still working their way through the process, we do have one question in the chat and then I have one raised hand. So we are going to start with a question in the chat, which is explain acceptable teaming agreements. Justin, unfortunately, we have to unmute you. We can't hear you.
Aha, I said lots of good things there. But thank you for the question, Jim. You know, the goal of the project is to create opportunities in a way that hasn't typically been achieved on projects in the Pittsburgh region. So with that said, there aren't specific rules at this point to say what kind of packages and teams create what kind of percentage participation. So I encourage you to look at the plan that makes most sense for your company and present it, and we'll go from there. There are specific words in the CSIP plan that talk about joint ventures and traditional mentor-protege programs, as well as just supplementing the typical supply chain with more diverse businesses. So I'm unaware of any limiting factor of any potential legal bid arrangement that would count any less for participation than any other.
Thank you, Justin. I have Margaret Garner. Margaret, you can unmute yourself.
Oh, okay. My question, I was just typing it in the chat. Number one, what are the pre-qualification requirements such as bonding limits? Is there a minimum or maximum bonding? Are you asking for a person, the organization's WIP reports, which are work in progress reports? What are the minimum that you're looking for, the maximum for GL, workman's comp liability? What was the last one? An EMR modifier. To get an idea of what you're looking for in the pre-qual process.
Yeah, so that's also an excellent question. It depends really on what type of bidder your firm is. If you're a traditional large firm bidding, then there's a specific pre-qualification process to go through with PJ Dick. If you're a smaller or a diverse business, we would want to have more conversation with your firm, like Teresa alluded to. The specific minimums will be posted in each bid package. Right now, I don't want to have them up here, but you know, as a sub-tier bidder or a supplier, I don't think you would be subject to any particular process, whoever that prime contract work that you're working for would be. So big bidders, yeah, pre-qual. Little bidders, we want to talk to you and find out what you have and find a way to get you onto the project.
So if we're a small firm and right now our bonding capacity is like 3 million aggregate, you know, $1 million, depending upon the project, working with our bonding company. But are you all unbundling any of the packages? So if we're looking like for a small trades package, you know, breakout of drywall, carpentry, finish or rough, are you all unbundling the packages to be able to make, you know, smaller contractors who are able to do or looking to bid between $500 to $1 million project to be able to participate?
Absolutely. That's, you know, what's been typical in the past, I think, is, you know, bidders indicate whether they're interested or not, and then bids are solicited. And the thing that's been missing traditionally is the conversation about how do we create a path. Our team wants to have that discussion, and really for the diverse bidders, we want to create whatever size opportunity makes most sense for you. And we'll analyze that information as we receive it, and we'll contract accordingly. So if you have $3 million worth of bonding, you need to call us and get conversations real soon. And if you need help getting to that point, we want to have the conversation about how to get you there.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Okay.
Margaret. I have another Margaret who had her hand up as well, Margaret Knight. And then I'm going to proceed to the questions in the chat. I'm going to start with your question, Sandra.
Hi, my name is Margaret too. I have actually filled out my paperwork and sent it in today to Miss Sandra Bados. She works also with the DBE. I went through BISFIT, so that's how I got involved with this when I'm speaking with you guys. So I know about Juan Garrett and all the assistants. I'm currently in a union. I own a union shop, and we're painters, finishers, and we do wall covering. But I seen that the package is all the way in, I think it was July, if I'm not mistaken. I screenshot all of it. It's in July. So it would be smart to contact you now. I sent over an email while we were going through the first questions. So I sent over an email, and it would be wise to contact you guys now just to get in touch with you guys, because we are minority owned. I'm the president of the company. I literally like an hour ago sent in those papers. So I'm not really sure how long it's going to take. I have a meeting with her tomorrow. And I believe that somebody else asked the question as well in the chat. Is there a union package? Should we even we're a small company, but we're a sub company too. So is there anything specific for union? Is there a difference if I haven't been approved yet, but I sent in my papers?
Okay, I guess I'll try to field that, and please, if I miss one of the components, remind me of what it was. The couple highlights, I would say the time to be engaged is right now. That's why we're having these meetings, to find the right fit for your firm to compete, and whether that's as a direct bidder or as part of a team of bidders for a particular trade. The time is now, and I refer you to Janae Smith's note here for diversity at eholdingsinc.com is where you would get, originally recognized by PJ Dick. We need to do that now. The question, is being union or non-union a limiting factor? It is not. The team will figure out how to address it if you're not union. Obviously, for a big project, there's going to be heavy union involvement, but that's part of the conversation that we'll have with diverse bidders that are non-union. We need to have a conversation with you about what that looks like. And there's a couple different paths for that to happen. I don't want to get into it right now, but the main thing to think about here is big company or little company, there's no barrier. Union, non-union, there's no barrier. The barrier that we have is not communicating and finding that path. So great questions. If I missed something, please let me know.
Okay, well, thank you. I sent an email while we were first starting questions. So I did that. So I reached out already. We are union, so that works as well. But the one question that I had about the which I believe is in the chat. I think I'm going to let you answer her question because it was formed a little better. So
Well, thank
but
you.
thank you
Thank you,
so much for your
Margaret.
time.
Thank you. So I'm going to move on to the next one since Margaret yielded her time back. Will there be a miscellaneous metals package, and how about any precast concrete scope?
Yeah, I'm going to hand that one off to Bill Hartle. Bill?
Yes, there'll definitely be a miscellaneous metal package. That should have been on the list. It got missed. It would probably go out with the July release by the time the design is complete enough to have a correct and complete miscellaneous metal package. Precast, I don't know yet. I haven't seen anything in the documents, but they're only at schematic design level now, so I don't know the answer to that part of the question.
Thanks, Bill. Next question, are all packages going to be prime packages?
I guess I'll take that. So I guess we're throwing around the word prime. I'll define prime. There's only one prime contractor, that's PJ Dick. So I think what you're talking about is how many contracts will PJ Dick hold, and we'll hold as many as needed to create the right balance of cost and diversity. So there's plenty of opportunities for businesses to be in the supply chain of a bigger bidder. And if that isn't the right fit, then we'll create a smaller direct contract for a specific scope of work for smaller and diverse businesses.
Thanks, Justin. Next question is, if your certification is pending and has not been approved by the bidding process date, will you still consider that company as a diverse business?
So this is going to sound a little bit repetitive, but this is the first time we're all doing this. There aren't really rules to what certifications count. What I'll say is if you're a minority or a woman-owned business and you're certified or uncertified, we want you to compete, and we'll, in our conversation, figure out how we, if you're the right fit for the project, we'll figure out how to deal with that. So there's not, Teresa, I know the CSIP references one particular certification, the PA. Can you take that? You know that answer?
Sorry, Justin, I do not know that answer of which ones they would take, and I don't know of anything that was limiting.
Great.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're in the process of certifying and that doesn't happen before competition, please compete, and we're going to figure it out.
Sounds good. I have a question from Sally. I can't say that. I need specific help with going through bid packages and understanding exactly what is needed to ensure my bid is complete and competitive. Where can I find that help? Which organization should I contact?
Okay, I'll take a piece of that and then I'll shoot it back to you, Janae. I guess one path for that would be having a conversation with my construction team, Teresa or Bill, and that gets facilitated through eHoldings. And then I believe the second component is kind of back of house training lined up by JCI, but is facilitated by eHoldings. Do you want to be more specific about that, Janae?
I can. So if you're a diverse business, I know we keep asking you to send an email, and I hope that doesn't feel impersonal, but that's the best way for us to collect all your information and be the most supportive we can be with what your needs are. And so if you're kind enough to send us an email, someone will reach out to you as soon as tomorrow and understand what you need help with. We are working on developing some sessions around bidding and estimating. So For those who we've talked to so far, one of their questions or concerns were, I've bid smaller jobs or similar jobs, but how do I bid a job of this scale and be competitive? And so we heard that. And so we are getting some trainings organized to help with understanding that process and what information needs to be included. And if you reach out, I can make sure that you're included as part of that process. I am going to move on. Hopefully, Sally, we answered your question. I'm going to move on to the next question about, the next question is about union labor, but I think we've addressed that. So are there green roofs planned for this project?
I'm going to give that one to Bill Hartle as well, please.
I wish I could answer that one. I don't know. Like I said, the design is at a schematic level now, and if it's on there, I missed it. So I don't know at this point.
Thanks, Bill. Brenda would like to know, are you looking for design, commissioning, MEP, and envelope?
I'm not sure if Amani's on. I don't know what's left in organizing the design side. There will be commissioning required because there are lead goals. I'm not sure if it's clear whether there's anything more in our package but commission assistance. So I guess to the person who has that kind of service, especially if you're a woman-owned or minority-owned business, I think the best place for you to go is to eHoldings, and they can take your information and pass it on to the design team and the developer. That service is definitely needed, though.
That is correct. I will drop at the end of this call, I will drop all the appropriate links again in the chat so you don't have to filter through the comments that we're reading through for questions. So the next question I have is this project going to use BIM? B-I-M.
I can jump on that one, Justin.
Yes, please.
Definitely, it will require BIM. So I guess that's the straightforward answer.
Great. Next question is from Connor. Connor wants to know, when do you anticipate low voltage work package coming out, fire alarm, door access paging, digital signals, etc.? That's
you, Bill.
Yeah, that's going to be along the same timeline as the electrical package. That would be in the July set of bid package releases. That would be when all those systems are on the street.
Great. I actually need to circle back. I have Matt Cordes on the line. Matt, did you want to speak about the previous questions related to commissioning MEP and envelope? Nope, we can't hear you. We will get Matt unmuted, and when we do, we will come back to him. The next question is asking, is PJ Dick self-performing any scope of the work?
That's an excellent question. Because it's public money, we have to bid all packages, and in doing so, PJ Dick will bid on the concrete work, both concrete packages. But the bids will be delivered to the owner and then evaluated. So maybe concrete, maybe not.
Understood. The next person is Donna. Donna has a concrete pumping company, and she wants to know, will they be notified who the concrete is awarded to?
I think that by the time there's a bid award, things will be pretty baked in. Once bid packages start to come out, you're going to see the kind of detail that the bid submission is going to require, a lot of detail of what each component is. There's a sheet from the CSIP that asks for specific percentages for in your bid for minority and women-owned business participation in your supply chain, and specific questions for your workforce. So while if you reach out and make us aware, we'll be happy to let you know after award. I just think that's too late. I would rather encourage you to get into the intake, raise your hand, let's have a conversation. And then what would probably be better is for us to identify to you who the concrete bidders are, so you can provide sub-level bid information to those bidders, including PJ Dick.
Thanks, Justin. I think Matt has unmuted himself. Matt, did you want to chime in on that previous question?
Yes, I believe the question was about commissioning and sustainability design aspect for the G1 tower. That has been fulfilled and awarded for G1 only, but G1 is just 1/10 of the commercial properties being developed on the Lower Hill site. So there's going to be many more opportunities to join design teams and commissioning teams down the road. Hopefully we have your name and company on the books, and we'll include you on any upcoming RFPs for those needs. So hopefully we have your name and company in place. So hopefully then we'll take it from there.
Thanks, Matt. Next question. Are the MBEWB percentages, carried by PJ Dick as a whole, or are they applied to each individual trade package?
Well, that is an excellent question. We're all on the same team here, so the answer is it's both. We're asking that each bidder create CSIP compliant percentages. There's certainly arrangements that could be made where you could be 100% diverse depending on the arrangement there. So there will be places potentially where a trade comes a little short, and places where trades will come a little bit over. So we're going to hold the bidding community accountable for thinking about this in the way that we all have to. And that's why we're really talking early. It won't line up 100%, like 45% on every package. It's going to be 100% on some. It's going to be less than 40%, 45% on others. So everybody, we're not going to do what we need to do at this historic site if we don't all contribute.
Thank you, Justin. And the last question that I have in the chat before I open the questions up again to raise your hand. And for those of you who are on the phone and forgot perhaps the instructions for how you unmute yourself, you simply press *6 and then you'll be able to unmute yourself and speak. So I wanted to share that with you before we open the floor to questions. The last question that I have in the chat is from Hunter. Hunter is part of a woman-owned business that does rebar fabrication and install. They want to know if there's anything big in the curtain wall that I should hurry to get my certifications for. They are a union, install, and open shop fabricator, excuse me.
Yeah. So that's a great question. Again, I'm not as concerned about the actual certifications as what can you do commercially at a commercial rate, and are you a minority owned or a woman owned business? So I would let the certification process play out in regular time, and then I'd encourage you to get into contact with eHoldings and get into the system, because we would certainly want to start talking to you now about the rebar fabrication, and especially if signatory with iron workers, there could be a labor component of the curtain wall package. We'd have to have further discussions about that. And I guess I didn't answer well the certifications, and I guess Teresa, you noted that Jennifer Howe's here. Jennifer, how do you want to say anything and or provide any certification clarification? Try to put you on the spot. All right, I'll take that.
Are you able to hear? Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
We can.
Okay. There are a number of certification agencies that could and do apply. There's the Pennsylvania Unified Certification Program, which a lot of the invitees do already have. There was a PADGS program, the Department of General Services program, which some people still have the certifications for that. And, I know that program has gone through some changes in the last several years. So sometimes that's, more of a problem than it's been in the past. But that's a certification that could still be applicable. There's the National Minority Supplier Development Council offers some certification there, and that's acceptable. And also, Women Business Enterprise National Council, the WeBank they call it, or the WeBEC, Women Business Enterprise Council. There's a number of certifying agencies out there that we could consider for this program for the FNB Tower.
Thanks, Jennifer. Are there additional questions? I don't have anyone with their hand raised, and I don't have.
I have a question. Can you hear me?
Okay, we can hear you.
All right, this is Ralph Pagone with Richard Gettle. Is there or will there be a project labor agreement for this project?
I'll take that. There currently is not a PLA. That doesn't mean there couldn't become one. If one did come into play, it would, it would have to have the details of how we include non-union diverse businesses. But right now there is no PLA, and there is currently no PLA discussion.
Okay, thank you.
Plus I, Ralph.
Other questions?
Can I raise my hand even though I've gobbled up all the time?
Justin gave such a thorough question and answer segment. So I want to put into the chat, particularly two really important pieces of information. One, in general, where you can go to collect more information about the project in general, and to get yourself included on the bidding site for PJ Dick. I also want to provide to you, again, the email address for those diverse businesses on the line who have or have not heard from us. I mean, by all means, if you've heard from us, but you have a question, please don't feel like you can't reach out to us again. I'm using the email address that I'm providing. I think my focus was just to make sure that those who had not heard from us or that we were not aware of knew where to contact us and how to get in touch with us. If there are no additional questions, I will open the floor just for a few moments to see if folks have thought of something. Otherwise, we will thank you for your time. There is an exit poll on your way out of the meeting, and we hope to hear from all of you soon.
Janae, there's a question in the chat from Kim Williams.
I'm gonna have to scroll up. There we go. Kim Williams, is this still a prevailing wage job?
That information will be in each individual bid package. What it seems to be right now is prevailing wage on a certain piece and perhaps not prevailing wage on a certain piece. So I know that sounds confusion, but there is RCAP funding. The RCAP funding will be for a specific scope of the project that will have prevailed wage rate requirements. I'm not sure about reporting on the rest of the tower. Teresa or Bill, do you know that answer? Yeah, I think we don't know yet how that works out, but there likely will be prevailed wage rates on, well, there will be on some of it, if not all of it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, Justin. I think I'm on the same page as you as far as most likely it's going to be some of these early packages would pertain to the prevailing wage requirements. Definitely the follow-on packages later in the project. I'm not sure at this point.
Thanks, Bill. Thanks, Justin. We have a follow-on question related to Andrea wants to know, she is a woman majority-owned business, but they have not registered officially as a MeBe-WeBe. Is that something that has to be complete before officially bidding as a MeBe-WeBe? I think that we've talked about that a little bit throughout the call, but if you can kind of circle back for those who weren't here.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. We want everybody to compete, and we want to find the way to get everybody the right opportunity. So if you're not registered, there's certain back of house, workshops that E-Holdings can direct you to. So I would go to E-Holdings and get registered. And when they contact you, then explain, what your need is, and they can direct you to a place where you can potentially help expedite it. As far as bidding, I would encourage you not to worry about that too much, and let's figure out what is the right bid package. Let's get your bid, and let PJ Dick worry about the timing of your certification. I'm completely willing to, stand up and represent a minority-owned firm as a minority-owned firm and a woman-owned firm as a woman-owned firm. So we'll figure that out.
Thanks, Justin. Sally has raised her hand. Sally?
Hi. Yeah, you can hear me, right?
We can hear you.
Okay, great. This is a pretty specific question. I'm a UCP certified women-owned business in commercial flooring. And I do two things. I do materials and I subcontract out my installation. I guess I'm wondering if I subcontract out my installation to like these big businesses that are not women-owned, like should I be trying to subcontract directly only for materials directly with like PJ Dick or Mazzaro or Mascaro, as opposed to trying to work with another huge flooring company who can provide the installation part? Do you have any suggestions for that? It's a very specific question. Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's a great question. I guess, again, most of these things are a little bit more complicated questions. So I think the best thing to do is have, get registered and have a conversation with us. I can't tell from that scenario what really is the right fit for your firm. It might be bidding material to all of the bidders. It might be bidding material to PJ Dick to, inform all of the bidders on the labor, or if you have the capacity to bring labor as part of your bid, and submit as a direct contract, that would be fine. I encourage you to contact us, and we'll figure out what is the best fit for you to be most competitive and have the best chance to be on the job. It is really the answer for everything.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks, Justin. Thanks, Sally. With 2 minutes to the hour, we committed to keeping you and respecting your time from 3 to 4. Is there a final question? Any final questions? Okay, well, thank you all for your time. Justin, if PJ Dick team has any final closing comments, you can do so now. And then while you're doing so, I will issue the meeting poll.
Yeah, thanks, Janae. Thanks to everybody, first of putting this presentation together. I'm so happy to see so much interest. Some of you I know, some of you I don't know, and I hope to get to know. One thing that Matt Corris mentioned that really didn't get highlighted here is this is just the G1, G4 project. There's a lot of land to be developed out. So don't be discouraged. If you're behind or you don't get selected this time, I think it's important for you to understand that more work is coming, and these will continue to roll on. So getting in now and getting the conversations, whether you compete now or are awarded now, I think it's still a benefit for you to be have the conversations now, building awareness for your firm and awareness of your firm for us as we move forward into other phases. So thanks, Matt Corris, for reminding me of that important part.